We got to give it a second. And guess what? I think we are live now, fellas. What is up, mates? What is up, everybody? Welcome to this magical Willy Wednesday with Pendergast Podcast. What an honor it is to sit here down with two special mates of mine. One, Gary from California Superbike School out in the UK. He's an instructor. What an honor it is to sit down with him. My man, Daniel Shoemake. You guys here in America know exactly who he is. So, what is happening, fellas? And real quick, before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to my man Cameron Frazier, 2023 GP2 British Supersport champion. What a mega lad. I had him on the podcast. You guys go back and check it out. Also, big shout out to my man Jake Marsh with his dad, Peter Marsh. I can't say it enough. They support me and sponsor me, man. What mega lads these guys are. Nothing but love. Also to Martin from the Clothing King podcast. The Clothing Kings. Anybody looking for t-shirts, hats, get any type of merch made, I highly recommend. Reach out to Martin at the Clothing King. If you're not sure how, reach out to me. I'll make it happen. But anyway, that's enough for me. This is not why we're here today. We are here for my man, Gary, that is in the house. What is up, Gary? How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. It's nice to be on board. It's been a worrying weekday, as I was saying earlier. Really getting excited to talk about things and just being on. It's the first one I've done for me, so it's quite an experience.
Oh Lord, we can't hurt him too bad, Chris. He's never going to want to do another one.
I'm very delicate.
Oh, we were doing tech one day, and we had one of the coaches walk up to me, and he's checking my bike over, and he goes, if you'd relax, this would be a whole lot easier. It's like, shut up.
Right? No, listen, Gary, I promise you, we'll take it easy on the first podcast, but the next one we do, Gary, it's no holds barred, baby. It's going to be wide open. Listen, again, what an honor it is. Big shout out to Peter for actually setting this up. He's the one that actually made this happen. So yeah, big shout out to Peter Marsh. He actually owns a dental company. So if anybody needs any work done, reach out to Peter Marsh Dental. Yeah, you got him, the best lad out there. Martin Adams is actually watching, man, the Clothing King podcast. I always say that because I had him on. So yeah, the Clothing Kings, which is Martin. What is up, my man? Gary, how did you get into motorcycles?
Blimey. Well, it's quite interesting, really, because going back to what, probably the 70s when we were at secondary school, that sort of thing. At the time, 16-year-olds in the UK could ride a moped, which was 50cc with pedals that you could use if you wanted to, but nobody ever did, really. And so some of my peers started getting themselves mopeds, and there were a couple that had the old FS1Es and AP50s, and one even had a Pook Grand Prix, which was quite a novelty at the time. A few bobs there at that point. And so when they turned 16, we used to sort of chat about it and that sort of thing. And it got to the point where during lunchtime, we'd clear off into a corner of the playground behind the buildings where nobody could see. And I got the opportunity just to ride around the bike sheds on it, which was great. So I went to see my parents and said I'd like a moped, and no chance. So that was a bit of a disappointment, really. Then, of course, we got a little bit older. We got to 17, and at 17 at the time, we'd learn the plates on. You could ride the 250. So people progressed from 125s onto 250s and that sort of thing. So I still stayed interested. I got to 17, asked again. Nope, no chance. So it was my mother, actually, who was quite vocal about it, because my grandmother, her mother, had a fiance, and they were involved in a serious motorcycle accident. She survived, but unfortunately he didn't. So she was always quite anti-motorcycle. So I said to her, well, that's okay, that's fine. I'll wait till I'm 21, and then I'll buy my own. When I'm an adult, I can make my own decisions. So I got to the age of 21 and took my mum with me, and she signed the as guarantor for the finance papers.
Hey.
So I bought myself a 125, passed my test, and then bought 750. And she said to me one day, can I come out on for a ride? I said, yeah. And from that point on, she jumped on the back, and I couldn't escape the house without her. So it was
Go
quite nice.
Mom.
It sort of progressed from there. So I passed my test in what, June 1982. So it's been a while, and that's where it came. So from that point on, really, I've apart from a short spell where I was talked out of it for about 12, 18 months, I've always had a motorcycle in the garage, which is great.
It's awesome.
Yeah, man, that's proper. So how did that go from ride motorcycles into California Superbike school? Like how did that whole transition go into
it happened. It was quite. It wasn't so much gradual. I in a previous life, I was a police motorcyclist, and but they had wire wheels and twin shocks at the time, so it's quite a long time ago. And so I sort of passed the advanced test. So I was a half decent rider. And funnily enough, you're talking then about Scott Russell, the World Superbikes Brands Hatch round were on TV, and it was Keith Hewan interviewing Keith Code, funnily enough, because at the time Keith was working with Scott Russell when it was him and Carl Fogarty neck and neck for the championship. And so Keith got interviewed by Keith Hewan on the TV, and I was watching it at home. And I had a friend of mine who I'd worked with on the police bikes, and he'd gone into a different department, and I'd come off the bikes, but we still kept in contact and used to go out for a drink. And so we went out this particular week after the interview, and I was talking to my mate, and he'd seen the interview as well, and we were just sort of discussing, how what Keith said had made quite a lot of sense. And the second ex-Mrs. Adzed overheard this conversation and bought me a level 1 course as a surprise Christmas present.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I did level 1, then and improved. Did level 2 and improved again. And I'd been looking for some means of putting something back into riding. I think that everybody can say that, if you ride motorcycles, then they're in your blood. And I wanted to find means of putting something back into it, to help people get the same sort of level of pleasure and joy I've had out riding motorbikes all these years. And I didn't want to teach learners because I think that's a particular sort of skill that I might have now, but at the time I didn't think it was for me. And so I approached Andy Ibbott, who was running the school at the time, at the National Bike Show, and asked if we could get involved. So he said, yeah, we can do, but we'll have a little look at you first of all. So I went down to Pembrey in Wales to do a tryout day there. Passed the tryout day and got involved in the training program from there. So I started coaching for the school in June 2001. So I've been around from quite for that sort of length of time, really. So from there.
That's awesome.
That's a long time.
Yeah, it is. It is.
You're coaching for a while.
Right. Yeah. What excites you the most about coaching people?
I think it's something that everybody, I don't think it matters what sport you do. It's when you see somebody actually get it, and it's really good and to see those smiles on people's faces at the end of the day. When I first got involved and we go and sort of try and promote the school at the bike show, people would say, well, why do I need to spend money on training when I can go over there, buy an exhaust and get an extra 10 horsepower? And that was the mentality at the time. But gradually, it came almost overnight, really, that all of a sudden people kept coming up and saying, do you know what, I bought the Superbike and it scares the life out of me. I need some help. Can you help me? And so that really made the difference then, that you people who actually wanted to come along, wanted to invest in themselves and improve the standard of riding and to get the best out of the bike. And it's good to see that people now come along to the school, and you've probably seen the same, Daniel, where they'll come along and at the start of the day they're really quite nervous and a little bit apprehensive and stuff, but at the end of it, they know that they can go away and actually they're in charge of the bike and it's not the other way around. So that's the best part of it, really, for me, just to see those improvements. And it doesn't have to be anything huge either, just a small improvement for a lot of people makes a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. It also helps with the confidence and everything. So, which is a huge deal, right? It's almost like a school teacher, that satisfaction you get, raising your little kids, right? Yeah, showing them the way. Yeah, I know. It's man, it's awesome. Man, it's I would love to try to get involved in trying to help, people coach. People got to really have an understanding on riding to actually do what you do, right? You actually got to know the body position, the correct body position, and this target fixation, and man, the list goes on and on and on. Obviously, man, I'm getting some comments in here. Chris Fulton, he says quality training from Gary and the team. Absolutely, the best in the business. Gary, California
He is the
Superbike
man
School.
in the business.
Dude,
Like,
listen,
what are we talking about here?
facts. So, listen, everybody that is listening to this either live or after it's done because you're at work and you can't catch it right now, we'll be on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google. The only thing we're not on is Apple right now. Or you can come back on YouTube.
I'm working on that.
Okay, thank you. But listen, you guys reach out to Gary. Okay, if you live in the UK, there's no reason why you should not reach out to my man Gary. And
we're at the bike show this coming weekend at the NEC from I think it's the 18th to the 26th, something like that. So we're going to be part of the Kawasaki stand. So anybody who's listening or anybody at all who wants to come along, come and say hello. It's good to see people in the, in real life, so to speak. And we'll talk motorcycles all day long.
All day.
Are you guys on ZX10s over there? Or ZX10s? Are you guys on ZX10s over there? Because they're on BMWs here, I think. But okay.
Yeah, the school uses BMWs in Australia and the United States. We use Kawasaki. They use Kawasaki in the Philippines. Norway, they've got Suzuki's at the moment, and Poland use Triumphs.
Time out. There's a racetrack in Norway.
Yeah, there are a couple of them actually. There's one called
now. It's covered 2 feet of snow. Absolutely not.
Yeah, there's a place called Rudskogen.
Okay.
And they've got a racetrack in the Arctic Circle, which we've not been to yet, which is a disappointment.
I've heard about that. Y'all can have that one. No, it's just we haven't been there. What's this wee stuff? It ain't gonna be me.
Right. No. Hey, it'll be quite cold, but I think it would be good for the sport to get out.
100%. It'd be great.
100%, man. So listen, my man Martin Adams from the Clothing Kings. You guys heard me say it earlier. If you guys want any merch, I don't care if you live in the United States, Japan, wherever in the world, reach out to the Clothing Kings proper. He said Gary is an absolute legend, and Martin. Absolutely agree, mate. 110%. And then we got Jane. I love you, Jane. Of course he is. Of course he is.
There's a certain bias there somewhere, but that's it.
And then we got I have another one from my mate, man, my good mate, Cameron Frazier. Everybody know he's been on the pod 2023 GP2.
Sick.
Superboard.
Yes, dude. Sick.
Yeah, dude, Cameron Frazier, what is up? Let's go pin the gas. Let's go, baby. Yeah. Gary, so how closely do you actually work with the United States California Superbike School?
We work quite closely overall. The United States. The thing with the school is that it's effectively the same product wherever you go. So the training for the coaches is the same. The way that the coaches interact and work with the students is the same. So that means that you could do maybe level 1 in the United States, come and do level 2 in the UK, do level 3 in Poland, and do level 4 in the Philippines. It's the same. It's that sort of thing. So we've had some coaches this year go out to the United States to further their training. Our chief riding coach, Glenn, went out with our deputy chief riding coach, Scott, a couple of months ago, and they had a great time there. One of our other coaches, Andy, went out earlier in the year and had a good job. So yeah, there's quite a bit of interaction. Really, we're in regular contact with them now, which is good.
Yeah, that's great.
That's really good.
It is. And Martin, again, our mate Martin, ask him about Predator. I gotta know about Predator now. Gary, what is up?
Just the reaction Gary just had.
Right.
The chin all the way back laugh. What is this story?
Okay, so how long have we got?
As long as you need.
Hour and a half.
As long as you need, baby.
Let's go back to prehistory.
Let's go.
When I joined the cops, I joined in 1979, so it was a long time ago. But in 1980, I went to work in Greater Manchester in Moss Side, which is one of the inner city areas. And at the time, of course, I wasn't riding because I wasn't old enough, according to my parents. But there was I got to know a colleague of mine over there, a chap called Neil Charles, who had a Honda CB900F, one of the first ones, the twin cam motor, that sort of thing. And every so often he'd give me a lift home, and that what have you, scared the life out of me on it. And so I got on this 900F, and then he was coming back from the Bordeaux, and I think it was about 1980. 81, 82, and he was joining one of the main arterial motorways to come back to the northwest. Had a blowout, threw himself on the bike at the scenery. He wrote the bike off, but as usual, he just got up and walked away. So he then took what was left of this Honda and contacted a company called Rickman in the UK. I don't know if you've heard of Rickman.
Yeah,
I know Rickman. Yeah.
So they at the time were making road chassis kits for road bikes. Mostly the GS1000. Well, they made a few for the GS1000, and they made plenty for Kawasaki, and they made one for the 900F at the time. So he built this Rickman and used to ride around on it and go to work and that sort of thing. I got my bike. We started knocking about together. I passed my test, and I had my test in the morning. So he rang me up and said, "How did you go on?" I said, "I passed." He said, "Oh, great." He said, "I'll come round and have a drink, have a cup of coffee with you." So he turned up on this Rickman Predator CB 900, and we're there talking. And of course, I've just passed my test on a 125 Honda. So he said, "You're going to
especially I know where the story's going.
Can't you?" So he told me that you're going to get a bigger bike anyway. Take it for a ride. So on the day I passed my test, I rode this particular Rickman Predator, and so then I bought a 750. It didn't last long. I bought an 1100, and we went around Europe. Him on the Predator, me on the 11. That sort of thing, knocked about a bit. Then a couple of years later, he sold the bike, and we stayed friends. And the Rickman disappeared off the planet. So 2 years ago, I'm rooting around on Facebook on one of the CB 900F restoration pages because I bought one because it's the first bike that scared me. And this bloke says, "I've got a Rickman Predator CB 900F if anybody's interested." So I was able to tell him the registration number of the bike and told him the history. So he said, "Are you interested?" I said, "Well, yes, I am, but I'll have to make some space in the garage." So so I entered into negotiations. Then we're on the way down to the XL, and I said to Jane, I said, "I've done a terrible thing." So she said, and usually when you say I've done a terrible thing, it means there's something coming. So she said, "What?" I told her the story. She said, "Right, let's go and have a..." So we went and had a look at it. And so we struck a deal. And so I brought it home. The chassis had been partly restored, came with loads and loads of spares. So we ended up putting it back together again and painting it, all that sort of thing. And it's back on the road again. It's been taken off the road. I think the first time I rode it was the middle of last year, and it's the first time it's been on the road for 35 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I offered it to Neil, see if he wanted to buy it, and he said, "No, I'm not interested." So I thought, well, that's it. The door's open. So
yeah.
So I ended up buying this Rickman, and of course I said to Martin, said, "Can you do me some graphics?" He said, "Yeah, of course I can." So I sent him the pictures, and of course you can imagine where it went with the word Predator on the side of a motorcycle.
Right.
Flying it. So he always takes the mickey out of me and gives me a load of input about me riding a motorcycle called that. But yeah, that's the story behind the Rickman. Really,
that's awesome. That's a great story, man. That's awesome. Story. That bike deserves to be back on the road.
Yeah, I think from what I can find out from the Rickman owners, that I think they built 14 of them in the early 80s, and so it's one of 14 that were originally made.
That's awesome.
And I think probably one of only maybe 4 left worldwide.
Wow.
So,
you got one.
That's awesome.
That's proper.
It's unique, yeah. But and the nice thing is it's part of my motorcycling history, so it's good. I like it.
So now we need to talk to Jane to letting her be in the bike being in the house somewhere, right?
Oh no. Unfortunately, it's banned. We had a bike in the hallway in the old house, but the band, which is a bit of a shock, really. But
yeah,
what it is. It's what it is.
Yeah. So similar story. I did the same thing when me and my wife first got married. I bought a Ducati 996 and didn't tell her. And until we're in the middle of Walmart, I felt, I guess, the safest in public, right? I mean, let's just be honest, right? New wife.
That's not always a guarantee. Trust me.
No, Daniel, facts, right? So, yeah, this is going to make you guys laugh. So we're sitting there, and of course I'm nervous, right? I'm like, man, fuck, how am I going to tell her I just bought this motorcycle? I didn't mention it. Didn't say shit about it, right? So I was like, yeah, I did a thing. She's like, what are you talking about? I said, I bought a Ducati 996 the other day. And she was like, this is the first words out of her mouth. Excuse my French, everybody. She says, what? You think just because we're in fucking Walmart, you're safe?
Told you. Called it.
And I was like, absolutely not. Right. So, yeah, it didn't go down too well. Right. It was one of those things where I did something and asked for forgiveness later. I didn't do it again. I tell you that. But yeah, it was just a funny story. It was,
got to say, top tip is to buy them all the same color. That way, they're never exactly sure whether you already own it or not.
That's what I love about Ducatis and only buy them red. No, dude, I've had that. What are you talking about? That's been there, right? What are you talking about? Yeah,
for free.
Right? Yeah. That's my mate's bike. I'm just working on it. 3 years later, she's like, "Well, you keep riding that bike. What's up with that? Oh, I'm just riding.
Whose bike is that?
Right. It's my bike.
I've got to keep it running properly for him.
Yeah.
Right. It's it's man, being in love is what it is with motorcycles. It's almost like a sickness and a disease, really. It's something that, because it consumes me, I know it consumes the both of you and everybody that's listening and watching. I don't mean sickness and disease in a bad way at all. It's
definitely an addiction.
It's something that takes a hold of you and you just can't put into words. I fail at having to describe in the best way my love for two wheels, right? It's really hard for me to do at times. It really is, because it's so proper mega, and people look at me and say I'm crazy, I'm a lunatic, I know too much, I spend too much time watching road racing or podcasting or reaching out, being on the phone with all the guests and doing this and doing that. But man, at the end of the day, man, if motorcycles left this planet, I might as well go with them, because I mean, yes, okay, let me step back from it. People right now are probably like, dude, what about your wife and your son? They're my everything. Don't get it wrong, right? But if you took motorcycles away, I wouldn't be the same. I wouldn't be the same person, because nothing would ever fill that void, right? Same thing with Gary and his teaching of people and being an instructor, right? It's the same thing. It's motorcycles are a beautiful thing, and it's what brings us together,
I think it's funny, isn't it, that you get, I can't think of anything else that does this, in that you get somebody and they try a motorcycle for the first time and they either like it or they don't. There's nothing in the middle at all.
No.
And if you don't like them, they never ride them again.
No.
But if you like them and you ride them, then that's it. You're stuck. You're in your blood and you can't get them out.
Yeah, it's all you think about. Listen, I have a habit, just like you guys do, right? Like, I got, like, I don't know, a lot of helmets. My wife's like, do you need another helmet? And I'm like, do you need another purse? Right. I mean, let's just be honest, right? But this is a battle. This is not about that, right? Yeah, it's motorcycles is life, baby. That's what it is, right? And that's it.
Like,
so yeah.
You talk about helmets. I've got two on the table that you can't see. I've got some of the collection right there. I've got two more back over here, and there's three in the garage. So it's like, what are we doing? Like, that's a Hodgson. Like, that's a signed Hodgson. That's a signed Mladen. If I can ever meet Guy, I'm going to get that one signed. So yeah, it's an addiction.
It is, yeah, but it's the best addiction. Gary, I have a question. That picture hanging up right behind your head, yeah, is that you?
No, that's Freddie Spencer.
That's Freddie Spencer. I wish.
Okay. Yeah. Well, hang on. Let's rephrase it. You wish not riding that damn thing. No, I've seen footage of those things. I want no part of the power band that's 500 RPM wide. Absolutely not.
Gary, have you ever ridden a 500 two-stroke?
No, I haven't, unfortunately. No. I'd love to have a go on one. Absolutely. I can't think of anybody who wouldn't really. I mean, it's it's just a pure racing motorcycle, isn't it? And I just love to ride one.
I'd like to ride one. I'm not going to race one.
Big ride on was the RG500 when that first came out in 86. That scared the life out of me, so I gave it back to the owner and stuck with me big fat 4-strokes.
Right. Listen, I love. I have another comment, but this is for Daniel. What's up, my man?
Howard.
What up, dude? Yeah. Gower's also. Hey, dude, Daniel, he wants to know how are those TCX.
Good, still got them. They've lasted 2 years. I'll probably try and get one more year out of them.
Nice.
I bought a pair of boots off of him a couple of years ago.
Dude, Gary. So going back to the school, once you got involved with the California Superbike School, what's it like to work with proper legends that actually come through the school? Right.
It's interesting. It's
because they're different than the people that usually come to the school, right? So they're a different breed. So how do you coach them different than anybody else?
We don't.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
The thing is that really, you get some people who are absolutely supersonic around the track, and they do exactly the same thing that we do with a motorcycle. Just that the timing and the application is slightly different. We still have to do the same things. You can only do two things with a motorcycle. You can change its speed and change its direction. That's your lot.
Yeah.
And so they have the same issues, just on a higher level. And we've always found that if they come with with an attitude that they want to learn and they want to improve, which clearly they do, then the opportunity is there for them to be able to do that. We've had some very, very good racers come on the school and champions and British champions and what have you, and foreign champions, and they've come along and they've improved as well. And of course, the thing is that certainly with the racing side of things, their improvement is in terms of what, maybe a tenth, a hundredth, a thousandth of a second. So it's just a very subtle change, if you like, for them to get what they need out of it, and it can be something quite small. And it's good. They're good to work with, but the majority of the people we work with are road riders who just want to be safe on the road. They want to improve. They maybe want to go a little bit quicker, but not necessarily. They just want to get off the bike at the other end of the ride and think, I really enjoyed that, and getting up on the other side shaking like a leaf.
Yeah.
Well, that's the important thing, really.
It
I heard a rumor a long time ago that Cal Crutchlow came through the school at one point. Did he come through at Silverstone, I think?
He might have done. Not that I'm sure. I'm sure he probably has done at some point.
Yeah.
But I don't. I mean, we've had we've had quite a few people on it who've gone on to be very good. So
yeah. Because I remember reading an article in like PB or something like that years ago. They had a write up about the school, and I was like, okay, cool. They're over in the UK now, and they were like, oh yeah, Cal Crutchlow came through and learned all. I was like, all right, good for Cal, But yeah, cool.
We've had a few. Last year's GP2 champion Jack Scott's done the school.
Yeah.
We've got Dominic Agata's done the school.
Oh yeah, I know Dominic. I know of Dominic.
Yeah.
He's ridiculous.
Yeah, incredibly quick. Crikey, I think is Randy Krumanacher's done the school.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's been quite a few that have come through as well that have done well.
What was it like meet Jonathan Ray? Because I'm a huge fan of Johnny Ray's, dude. Yes, I seen that picture. I was like, oh my god, dude, lucky jelly over here.
Yeah, it's like coming on here, really, Chris. Just a little bit nervous at first, but yeah, can Jonathan Ray ride your bike? Yeah, of course he can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so yeah, he came along and he's really nice, down to earth bloke. Lovely to speak to, and it's like all these racers. They're incredibly good at what they do, and you get talking to them, and they're just really nice people. You get the odd one or two that aren't, of course, but that's life. And for me, he was lovely. He was really, really good, and looked after our bike, which was even better. But he looked after himself, which is more important. So yeah. It was a pleasure to meet him.
Yeah, do you ever find yourself where you got to turn the fanboy off? Because I do sometimes when I interview people. I'm like we talked about, I get nervous, and anxiety and all this for the podcast. I'm like, man, I'm going to have this conversation with this, and it's all this excitement, all this buildup, right? And I find myself because I'm such a fan of the sport that once I actually sit down and we get face to face, I in a way the fanboy kind of turns off, but it's still there, because it's still right here, right? Do you find
I don't think you ever lose it. I really don't. it doesn't matter who it is, whether it's somebody at the top of the tree at the moment or whether it's somebody from years ago who's a former champion. You're always very, very aware of who you're talking to and the things that they can do with a motorcycle.
Yeah, that's why when I meet everybody and I talk to them, I always tell everybody, and I mean it, dude, what an honor it is to sit down and have this chat with you two gentlemen, right? And everybody in the future and in the past. It's life's short, right? So when you're living it, it's hard to think about who you want to spend the most of your time with and who's the most valuable to you, right? And you got to pick and choose through your life as you progress on doing this. But again, what an honor it is to spend this time of my life sitting down with you two, right? Talking about the same love. It's listen, I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't ever change it for the world. It's proper mega for sure, man. And yeah, I feel you on that, Gary. It's special. It really is, man. So I got off the phone this morning with Caden Wilkerson, right? He's coming on the podcast. He racing the 600 Super Sport in BSB. Well, when I come out there to Cadwell, it was a dream of mine. And me and Gary had this conversation before. It's my favorite racetrack in the world. Everybody knows BSB is my favorite race organization, not because I think that they're faster, their tracks are better, blah, blah, blah. It's solely because Cadwell Park's just simply amazing in the history behind it. But as far as BSB goes, is they don't have the electronic assist. They don't have the Xbox and PlayStations when they get on the bike. It's down to proper road racing how it used to be, how we grew up watching Miguel Duhamel, Doug Chandler, Fast Freddie Spencer, Valentino Rossi, all these guys that everybody heard of and knows about. They didn't have that stuff back then. So to me, right now in 2023, as we move forward, they're the only ones doing it. And what a proper way of racing, man. What battles. You 240 horsepower motorcycles with no electronics. It don't get no better than that. It does not get no better than that, Gary. Sorry, the floor is yours.
No, I was just going to say, you're riding something like that around Cadwell Park, and things get thrown at you pretty damn quickly. It's a great track to ride, but it's not particularly wide. And how they get superbikes around there, it's impressive.
I don't even like a track on a video game, much less doing it in person. I've been watching it for years, and you've got the mountain and everything. And Chris and I had the conversation because they're doing baggers next year over there.
Sometime.
A bagger at Cadwell Park is going to be. I hope
no overtaking there.
Yeah, no, man. I tell everybody, listen, Cadwell Park is the most beautiful. I've been in a lot of racetracks in the United States. Never been one out of country except for Cadwell. Okay, so I can't speak for Magello or anything in Spain or anywhere like that. But me, in my lifetime, I've been to Laguna Seca, Texas. I mean, you name it. I've been to a lot of them. Cadwell Park to me it's such a beautiful track. But when you're standing there and you seeing Josh Brooks and Ryan Vickers and these guys like 4 or 5 feet rear tire off the ground coming off this mountain jump, you're like, holy shit. It is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen on two wheels except for the Isle of Man TT. I mean, and then I tell people once you come over that mountain jump, it's basically a little mini TT course, right? Back on the back section, the left, right. The tire walls are so close. There's one tree you can get super close. Actually, there's several of them. I forget the name of the corners through there. It's a bunch of little S corners where I'm literally like 6-7 feet away from the guys just coming by, right? And I'm standing there watching, and I'm thinking to myself, this is insane, right? Because the racetrack, as Gary says, people in America, you guys don't. It is a third width of our racetracks. It is proper insane how narrow this track is, right?
I thought Road Atlanta was narrow when I came out of the pits the first time. I'm like, wow, this feels narrow. It's like racing at Aintree when it's like a footpath through there. No, absolutely not.
It's hard to express in words. Go ahead,
I don't think there's many in the UK where you can get that close to the racing now as you can at Cadwell. If you're standing outside the cafe there, as you say, you're probably 10, 12 feet away tops.
That's it.
That's
and you
wild.
see them, and it's listen, it's hard for me to express in the words, just like my love for motorcycles and sitting here doing this, man, with you two gentlemen. It's proper mate. It's the most beautiful thing. I'm telling you guys. Listen, watching on TV, playing the video games, yeah, it's cool. It looks badass. But when you're physically sitting there and you're smelling the fumes and you're hearing the bikes and actually how slow they come in to set up for the mountain. I mean, they're proper, probably first gear, Gary, on a super bike, maybe second, right? Okay. And so that's not very fast at all, right? So let's say what, 60 kilometers, 70 maybe, right? Going in, and then left, right, and as soon as you hit that right, it's literally like climbing up this mountain, and it's steep. And yeah, it's you see this smile right here. It's hard for me to explain. It's
well, you take that right turn, it's just like a wall looking at you,
dude. It's
unbelievable.
Best racetrack. I highly recommend anybody that's ever thought about going. Cadwell, 110%. Luke Hedger's watching. What is up, Luke, my man? Can't wait to have you on, mate, for sure. We're gonna have a good time. And then Sean Wayne, man. Sean, what an honor. Gary, do you know Sean?
No.
Okay. Sean, he races too. He says Cadwell is the best track in the UK for sure. Absolutely. Proper track.
Proper racetrack, that, Sean, definitely.
Yeah, it is. And then Chris has another. He says, I enjoy the way learning is broken down to basics. Yeah, it is. It's I've taken a couple rider courses. I've never taken a California Superbike course, but I guarantee you this, next time I come out to the UK, me and Gary are definitely going to get together, and I'm definitely going to take the California Superbike school. I love the basics of learning, right? Because a lot of people, when they get out there and you start, getting to the track, I'm talking track days, right? It also transitions to be a better street rider, Gary. Okay. That's why a lot of people go to some of these courses, because it makes them more aware of what's going on in the street. Proper body position also goes hand in hand with the street. Everything, right? Everything you learn at a rider course translates to the street. It makes you a safer rider because you're more aware, right, of what's going on and how to handle situations.
We're lucky in that we, in the UK branch, we have a strong association with what's called Bike Safe, which is the police motorcyclists. I think it's about £60. Take riders out and do an assessment of the rides for them and helps them and give them, hints, tips and that sort of thing on road safety. And we've started to gradually build up a link with the Institute of Advanced Motorists as well for the same thing, because I don't think you can ever really get enough training, no matter where it comes from. Some people come to the school, some people think that the school's not for them, or go to the IAM or do Bike Safe. And for me, you're probably thinking the same, Daniel. It doesn't really matter, because it's an investment in you as a rider and as a person, and it doesn't matter. As I say, it doesn't matter where it comes from. It's if you do training, then by all means, do your best with it and never stop learning. You never stop learning every time you go for a ride.
No, you don't.
As long as you go into it, if you're not the instructor and you're the student, as long as you go into it with an open mind, going, hey, I'm here to learn, and leave your ego at the door, you're going to come out of there better and safer. I mean, a lot of the guys that I work with, again, I'm a novice coach, so it's like I'm at the beginning of the day, I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna make sure you can get on and off the racetrack safely. That's all I'm worried about right now. Let's get you through 2 sessions and then we'll start working on break points, turn in, corner exit, that kind of thing. But I want to make sure you're getting on and off the racetrack safe first. Because Gary, you get this probably constantly. You get guys that can barely ride a motorcycle. They don't even know how what all the levers do. We had a guy who was like, I don't know. All he did was use was his rear brake. I was like, what?
That's weird.
I was like, you've got 2 discs up front stopping one wheel instead of 1 disc in the back stopping 1 wheel. Let's use this one. You get guys like that. And it's just like, guys, just listen.
Yeah, we're lucky in some respects in that people who come to the school in the UK have to demonstrate a certain level of competence, in that they need to have a full motorcycle license or an AU competition license. Okay. So, at least they know which control does what, and, they can demonstrate measure of competency. But you're absolutely right. You know, if they turn up with a willingness to learn and to try things, then you know they'll improve and they'll go away with something, which is the most important thing. And again, you know, we charge what is a significant amount of money for a day at the school, and so we tend to get a lot of people who come with the understanding that I've spent a shed load of money on this. I want to get as much out of this as I possibly can. We do occasionally get the odd one or two that want to share around, but generally a little word of advice in the rear gets them thinking, yeah, actually, right.
Yeah.
And they go away with a result, which is the main thing.
So, the schools, there's 1, 2, or 3 days, right? Correct.
The way we work, each school level takes a day. So you'll do level 1 and that'll take a day. Level 2 will take a day. Level 3 will take a day, and level 4 will take a day. But each thing really, everybody starts at level 1 and then progresses on to level 2, 3, and 4 if they want to. Each level effectively is the standalone anyway. You can do level 1, make some improvements, and then go away and not come back to the school, but your riding will have improved. What you find is that generally people will do level 1, get the appetite to learn more, and come back to do level 2, and then probably come back to do level 3. But there's no real time scale on it. We generally get people who do 2 days level 1 on the first day of the school, level 2 on the second, or maybe do level 1 at the start of the year, go away to practice it, then come back towards the end of the year to do level 2. So it's quite flexible in that, you know, there's no sort of regimented way that you have to do these all together. They don't.
So, but you do offer, let's say if somebody in the United States was coming out there and was interested, or somebody in the UK in your school would say, hey, I want to do 1, 2, and 3 levels. Can they do that in a 3-day period, or do you break them up in weekends? Like this week we'll do level 1, next week level 2. How does that work?
Yeah, we in the United States, then generally you can do the 1, 2, and 3 in quick succession. What we found though was that after you've done level 1 and then level 2, to do level 3 on day 3, actually there's a bit too much of an information overload, and they are quite tiring days as well.
Yeah.
And so generally we run schools in India, and what we find on the Indian schools, they run 3 days. So on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 1, 2, and 3. And what you find is that day 1, they're good, they're on the ball, they're paying attention. Day 2 in the afternoon it starts to drop off a bit, and with some riders on day 3 it becomes damage limitation because they're that tired.
Yeah.
You know, and day 3 is all the body position stuff and moving around on the bike. So to add to mental tiredness, then get them jumping around on a motorcycle as well.
Right.
As hot as it is out there, you can know.
Yeah, nope. Right. So, what's your recommendation, Gary, to everybody that's listening, that's interested in signing up for your school, as far as taking level 1, maybe taking a couple weeks off or a month and coming back for level 2 and then level 3?
Depends very much on the rider, really. As I say, we get quite a lot of people do level 1 on the first day, level 2 on the second. In the UK this year, we're going to run 7, possibly 2 more. We're not sure yet, but we're going to run 7 schools. So we'll have we've got 2 days at Brands Hatch, 2 lots of 2 days at Bedford Autodrome, and a single day at Donington Park on the GP circuit. So really, we get a lot of people who come and do level 1 and 2 on a 2-day school. Or you can do level 1 and then come back to the following school and do level 2. It really depends on you and your capacity for learning, if you like. It's that's not being detrimental to anybody. It's whatever suits you. It's a learning process.
So we have Nathan Waller here. He says he has booked in for level 1 and 2 for this year in June, and is looking forward to it. Yeah. Mega, yeah, dude.
Early.
Nathan, yeah, congratulations, man. Like I said, the next time I come, it's not going to be next year, but the year after, I'm definitely coming back to Cadwell in the UK. I plan on staying for 2 rounds of BSB this time. I want to stay. It's either going to be before Cadwell or it's going to be Cadwell and the one after that. But I want to take some time out and spend some time with you and Jane in California Superbike School and check it out. And I can't wait. It's going to be a proper time. And I tell everybody this, Gary, I had the best race time of my life. I've been to MotoGP races. I can't count. I've been to every MotoGP race at Indy except for 1, Texas. I've been to 6 of them, Laguna Seca, Cadwell Park BSB was by far the best time I've ever had in any race organization I've ever been to. It was, it's just the whole experience, right? Being in the UK, the food, the people, the atmosphere, the energy, the holy shit, look at the mountain. Like, are you kidding me right now? Yeah, it's the food at the track is not that good, just like at every racetrack, right? Let's just be honest now. Everybody,
no track food's good.
No track food's good. Let's just keep it real, right? Yeah.
I'm going for 25 years. Ain't no racetrack race food good.
No, and so on that note, I met Helen. Helen, she runs the media center there at Cadwell. Me and her had a bunch of hugs, dude. What's up, Helen? I know you're watching. You had commented. She's proper, and we were sitting there and we were chatting, and somebody brought her a I forget what you guys call it. It was a biscuit with, it's like bacon, egg, and cheese, right? And she's like, how much did you pay for this? She's like, oh, hell no, I'll be right back. So she goes all the way down and comes back. She gets her 5 pounds back and still got the biscuit. I was like, let's go. I like this girl. Yeah, that's proper right there. Yeah.
She went down to argue with the concession lady.
Yeah, like, I run this. Not going to have it. Yeah. Good stuff. Helen, I love you, girl. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, that's great.
Like I said, everybody that I met, Gary, was just I can't put into words. It's hard for me to describe that whole experience. Nothing but the best word I know how to use is what an honor and mega, right? Because it's the most, I think, genuine comment you can give anybody. What an honor it is to chat. What an honor it is to meet you. This is so mega. I highly recommend it. Anybody out there, anybody that, and also Gary, a thing with me too is I try to get all my knucklehead friends off the street. Not so much just getting into road racing, right? But there's a time and a place for everything. Okay, there's a time where, you want to hit the interstate and do over 100 miles. I'm not condoning this, by the way. All the live viewers, this is not what I'm condoning. What I'm saying is,
we're not condoning this. We're just saying it happens.
Right. There's a time and a place for everything. Okay. We've all been there. We've all leather suits, dragging knees on the street, blah, 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 blah. Right. But the risk is not worth it on the street. Right. If you just listen to Gary and sign up, or listen to my man Daniel, go to him and sign up, whether in the UK or the United States, or you want to go to Michael Carrera, which big shout out to SFL Mini GP, which is one of the best ones here in if not the best one in the United States.
I need to go down there and ride with them.
Listen, it's some of my friends, right? They'll be like, oh, well, for my first bike, I'm gonna buy a CBR 1000.
You're not.
I'm like,
no, you're not.
This is my excuse, Gary. I say, listen, I got a lot of mates that professionally road race. Okay. I'm going to take one out of the Junior Cup. Avery Dreyer just won the champion, right? You're saying you're a better rider than him. He's a 400cc champion, but you're ready for a 1000cc, but you don't know how to properly ride a motorcycle, much less know anything about body position, target fixation. It's hard to convince somebody when they're Ricky Road Racer. You know what I mean? They had that mentality that, oh, I can do this, I can do that. You got to crawl before you can walk, right? I always tell people, listen, leave your ego at the door, because it's not the place for it. Motorcycles is not the place to have an ego, because you're going to find yourself in a bad situation really quick, but being with somebody like Gary in the California Superbike School, getting in touch with Daniel or Michael Carrera in the SFL Mini GP, learn the proper techniques on how to ride properly, the body position, you will notice a world of a difference in your riding. You'll be much more comfortable even at speed. Okay. It's really a big deal. Racing on the street's not cool. I mean, it's not. Let's just be honest, right?
Certainly in the UK now, the climate is such that if that sort of thing does happen, you're going to get invited to meet the magistrates. And in the UK at the moment, really, I think you've got a better chance of going to prison for exceeding the speed limit than you have for burglary.
Yeah, so it's dude, they don't play out there in the UK.
They're the same in Canada. I went to Vancouver a couple of years ago, and cross the border, and it's like, oh wait, no, these speed limits are serious. Okay, because like you look at this, like I'm talking to one of the guys that was there, that was from Vancouver that we were hanging out with, and he goes, "Oh yeah, speeding tickets up here are insane." He goes, they don't play. You don't speed here. I'm just like, all right. I looked at Dad. I was like, I ain't moving up here then. Like I can't ride like that up here. So
well, as you say, there's plenty of track days now knocking about for people to go on to and return up at a track day organised in the novice group. There's always people there as part of the team who are instructors who'll say, I've never been on track before. Would you mind giving me a tow around? And they're more than happy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's my job.
Yeah, no, that's one thing, Gary, that I love about our motorcycle community, right? You can go up to anybody. Let's say if I show up on a track day and, oh man, dude, I need a tool, or I just need something, right? A clutch, a rear wheel, a disc, or whatever it is, right? Somebody there's probably got it, and they're more than willing to be like, here you go, mate, no problem, no worries, right? And then all of a sudden you build this friendship with nobody you never even met, right? They might live 1,000 miles away or 500 miles away or wherever it is. It might be 10 minutes away and you never even seen them in your own town, right? Now you became mates with this guy, and I find that in our sport to be one of the most amazing things, right? How willingness everybody is to help each other out, no matter how professional or high. So it's like here in Moto America, we got Team Westby and Attack Yamaha, right? And I'm sure if Westby bent a rotor or needed something, they can go to Attack Yamaha and they got them. Sure, 110%, right? That's what I'm talking about. You're not going to get that in NASCAR. You're not going to get that in the NFL football. You're not going to get that in the UFC. You're not getting that nowhere else in any other type of sport but two-wheel sport, right? Because at the end of the day, we all share the same passion, same love, and we're there for the same reason, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah. You mentioned Pete Marsh and Jake before. They're in that same sort of position, and Max Hardy. If they need help, then they need pieces from parts from somebody, or they can help somebody out. Then they'll jump in there and they'll do that, and it's great. It's nice to see that sort of
sportsmanship.
Sportsmanship, really.
I've watched the Brown, like Chase and Reese Brown, do a motor swap on an RS 660, and Evan and Daniel Garver came in and jumped in and helped. They did 2 motor swaps in a weekend on an RS 660. I'm like, no, at like 2 a.m. to find out the ECU was bad, but whatever, that's a whole other story.
Right.
But just you're talking about, like, I race SV650. I race a 2nd gen SV650. Granted, those things you can throw a rock at a racetrack and hit 4 of them. So like everybody's gonna have something. I've changed parts and developed my bike, and it's like I just give wheels and stuff. Like, here, I don't need this. I'm not using this anymore. Take this. Wheels and handlebars and everything. It's just the camaraderie that I've found is, if we get the whole crew that I ride with together, we've got 2,500 square feet of easy ups. We got 25 bikes, and we're like, with just us, our crew, and we've taken up 5 massive camping spots. And it's, the camaraderie's there that you're talking about is amazing. It's the only time I've ever felt it. So
it is absolutely. So Gary, what's the plans for 2024 in California Superbike School?
Well, we've got some dates that we're going to launch at the bike show this coming week. Up until the end of the bike show, we've got an early bird offer on. So if people want to take advantage of that, then they can do. So looks like this year, you mentioned Pete Marsh and Jake before, so I'm going to be spending a bit more time working with Jake, who had a good season this year, first in GP2.
Good.
Yes, he did.
And again with Maximus Hardy and his dad, they're moving up to GP2 as well in Bemsey.
Yeah.
So it's going to be quite an interesting year, really. I'm looking forward to it. It should be.
That'll be fun.
It's going to be proper. Yeah. Obviously, everybody knows I'm good mates with Jake. Maximus Hardy, I've talked to him. I'd love to get him on the podcast too, man. I love talking to all the up and comers, man. That's basically what this podcast is about, is all the up and coming people, right? That don't get a chance to voice their opinion or have a spot on TV. It's a way to get their name out there and keep it out there, which is a huge deal.
It's how we got involved in it, really, and that you look at the VSB paddock in whichever class really, then you've got an awful lot of people there who've made it as far as motorcycle racing is concerned. They're in one of the top paddocks in the world and one of the best domestic championships in the world. But Jane's daughter is an international lacrosse player, so Jane used to take her all over the place to progress her through her sport. My brother's an Olympic athlete, and so my family used to take my brother everywhere to progress. And so we felt that for us to get involved and start working, particularly with some of the racers, was to start working with the younger kids and help them come along, because 5 to 7 years, they're the future. And going back to Cadwell Park, really, the way that the UK works at the moment is that you can't ride on a track day unless you're 18. So they'll get a 13, 14-year-old kid rocking up at Cadwell Park for the first time ever on a 400cc motorcycle or whatever it is, and expected to put in qualifying laps. And that we were lucky in that as the school we were able to work with Motorsport Vision and their sort of legal team, and now we can allow kids of 13 with an APU competition license to come on the schools, so they can start to benefit from what we do early on in their racing career, and hopefully that will stand them in good stead further down the line. So
it's weird how they won't let you get on a racetrack until you're 18. That's like we've got. Oh God, that was a competition license, I guess. But no, I mean, Nathan Goker, this kid, he's 11, and he annihilated me our novice year. It was hilarious. But we've got another kid. He races, I think he's in the Honda Talent Cup over there. He's bouncing back and forth. I can't remember his name to save my life. But
my man, Jillian Carrera.
No, it's not Juju. It's another kid. He's from Kentucky. Anyway,
Kristen Daniels.
That might be him. But yeah, he does track days with us, and he's 14, and he's killing people. And then we had another kid, Hayden Bickney's, show up and race and do track days with us, learning his R6. So it's like, I guess it's just weird. It's weird the government won't let them on there at 18, but they'll let you race at however. But you get to just have to jump in a race situation and not learn. Like that's weird.
I think a lot of that has to do with insurance too, right, Gary?
Yeah, I would think. Yeah.
I'm sure it has. But having said that, we've managed to get insurance cover for it. So,
Yeah.
So, but that's primarily because we're a school rather than a track day.
That helps too.
Yeah, it's a learning environment rather than just a go as quick as you can sort of environment.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, it does.
But
because go ahead, Gary.
Say we've had an awful lot of support on getting that to work and things starting to move forward. So that's good news. Hope for better things for them next year.
Yeah, me too, man. Yeah, me too. So is your 2024 already booked up? How far in advance do you guys usually stay booked up?
We'll start launching it at the bike shows for the dates, and so we'll start encouraging people to book online from there, and hopefully we'll do all right, because last year we sold out, which was great news. Really,
that's always good. That's always good.
Yeah, we're really pleased with that. So yeah, we'll see Kawasaki. We're part of the Kawasaki UK stand at the NEC, and so we'll start speaking to Kawasaki about some bikes for next year, and then we can start people can take advantage of the early booking through the website, and hopefully we can go from there. But initially, I think it's despite the sort of economic situation and what have you, I think that it's looking quite good for us. We're looking forward to seeing an awful lot of new people back again, but new people and a lot of regular people as well. We get an awful lot of people keep coming back to do level 4, and this year I think we had the highest number of level 1s for a long time.
Good.
So
Good.
Doing the training, which is great.
So how many levels is it to the school?
4. Yeah, but as I said earlier, you don't have to do all 4 levels. You can do level 1 and leave it at that if you want, and still make an improvement. But most people come do 1 and 2, then think, well, I've done 1 and 2, I've learned something, I've improved. I'll do level 3 and then come back for level 4.
So break down the levels to all the listeners. Like when you come into level 1, it's this, level 2 is this, level 3 is this, level 4 is this.
Right. So level one really is all about getting the bike stable for the day. So just to talk the format. School day starts at 7 with registration. We check your kit, make sure that your bike's safe for you to ride out on track. Then 8 o'clock is the staff introduction and your first safety briefing, then your first briefing of the day. Track goes live at 9 and then runs till 5. So we usually have about an hour for lunch. We run 3 groups. Each group generally will have 63. So we'll have we'll have 3 people per coach. I'm getting all tied up here, but yeah, we get a coach to student ratio of 3 to 1. So that you'll get your classroom session, then you can go and ride through the session to practice it with your coach helping you and improving you there. You'll then have a break and then another classroom session. So you get 5 rides, 5 classrooms, 5 breaks through the day. So level one's all about getting the bike stable. So first of all, we talk about what we do with the throttle, when we apply it, how we apply it. Then we go on to talking about steering it, where to steer the bike, how to choose where to steer it. Then we go on to steering itself, how you steer the bike. Then we go on to the effort or the effect that you can have on the bike in terms of you moving around on it or not moving around on it. And then the final thing for level one is a visual skill, which leads you into level 2. And again, level 2 is all about the visual skills, getting to create space and time for yourself, get consistency, and give your eyes a job to do, really trying to break down this whole sort of target fixation thing. Last exercise we do on level 2 is all about braking and how it helps you improve your turn entry speed, how to get it more accurate. And then level 3 is pretty much all about rider stability, getting the rider to move around on the bike without upsetting it, dealing with chicanes and switchbacks, that sort of thing. And so that's level 3. Then on level 4, it's a program that's designed for the rider themselves. The level 4 student will get a questionnaire before, talking about the strengths, the weaknesses, where they feel they need to improve, that sort of thing. And so there's less of a structure to level 4. It's not as structured as 1, 2, and 3, where if you do something on level 4, then we've got a load of different drills we can give you to do. Or you might need to revisit something that you've already done in the previous 3 levels. But the nice thing about it is that, as I say, you can go pretty much anywhere with it. I think there's something like best part of 200 other drills that we can apply to the level 4 students and get them just to iron out those little things that need improving.
So, student to rider ratio is 3 to 1. You said
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Even in level 4.
Yep.
Yeah. So you can. So when you go out, let's say if I was there, I say, "Hey Gary, I need a little help on this. You follow me out here. It would just be me and you, or me and you and 2 other students, or."
Yeah, you get the classroom session, and then you go out to ride it, and so you go out and practice it. Then your coach will find you through the session and work with you individually, rather than sort of in like a little duck sort of thing. And then at the end there'll be a personalised debrief with your riding coach as to where it works, where it needs improving, and then help you to make the difference in that turn that needs the most amount of effort to bring it up.
So you can either bring your own motorcycle or rent one from you guys, correct?
Yeah, we've got Ninja 650s. We've got a couple of Z900s, and we've got a couple of ZX10Rs that we can rent out as well. But that's over and above the price of the school day.
Okay, I got you. You got to pay extra to rent the bikes.
Yeah. That covers your fuel and your tires for the day. But to be fair, it's a lot better actually if you bring your own bike. You're going to be riding at 75% of your maximum ability, which will significantly reduce the opportunity for you to hit the floor.
Yeah.
But you're going to be riding your own bike anyway afterwards, so you might as well.
Yeah, bring it. Well, let me ask you this, Gary. Has anybody ever show up to the school and totaled one of the school bikes? Tell us about that.
Oh,
come on, that happens.
I know, but I want to hear a crazy story. Be like, dude, you wouldn't believe it. This guy just binned this brand new bike. It's total loss.
You know what? It upsets me. I can't even go there with that.
Okay. I got you. So
I've seen it over 22 years, and it happens. Fortunately, it doesn't happen very often. But yeah, it's not ideal, but unfortunately, it's one of those things, isn't it? You get to throw a leg over a motorcycle, you enter into contact that at some point, you might find yourself on the floor. Yeah. The coaches, given that the mileage that they do overall and the riding, because the students ride 5 sessions a day, the coaches ride 15.
Yeah, it's a lot,
and so it's inevitable, really. You do as much as you possibly can to avoid it happening, but unfortunately, it comes with the territory.
So, does Kawasaki have who takes care of who does all the maintenance on your fleet of motorcycles?
We're very lucky. We keep the bikes for a year, and so at the end of the year, then we sell the bikes. But in the meantime, we have a mechanic who looks after them, and he does a great job for them. It's a chap called Daryl Young, and big up to Daryl, who was
big shout out to Daryl.
Yeah, he was one of Van der Mark's mechanics this year in World Supers.
Bro, nice.
Yeah, so it's incredibly good at what he does, and he's been involved with the school for quite a few years now, and we get on really well with Daryl, and he does a great job for us.
That's proper, man. That'd be an awesome job to have, man. Taking care of the fleet of
the until you've got to put one back together. No,
yeah, right.
Trey Beatty, he taught at Kevin Schwant's school at Road Atlanta. I was riding an SV650 on the street, and he would just come in like, "You need parts?" I was like, "Kinda. Why?" He goes, "We crash these things all the time. Here," just hands me a stock exhaust. I was like, "Okay," like full on to stock exhaust. He goes, "Take this. That's sitting in my garage. Get this out of here." He was bringing me I asked him because I had crashed mine, and he goes, and I was like, "You got a radiator?" He goes, "No, that's the first thing that touches the ground on that bike." I was like, "Damn it!" But no, he was bringing me like speedometer clusters and everything. I was just like, oh my God. He goes, "Yeah, we go through about 3 of these every school." I was like, oh, what do you do? What's Kevin teaching them?
Yeah, right? What are you guys doing over there? So, Gary, let me ask you this: away from motorcycles, away from the school, away from all that, right? Do you read any books?
Yeah, I like reading because I spend quite a lot of time on aeroplanes usually through the school year, especially on the away schools, and so I tend to read quite a lot. But I quite like reading biographies. But I tend to try and avoid sporting biographies because they tend to be good in that you revisit all the successes that we had, but you very rarely get
personal
behind the scenes. You never really find out who
they really are. Yeah,
and the mindset that got them to where they ended with their particular sport or whatever it would be.
So, what's the best book you've read lately?
Oh, blimey, Mike Tyson's autobiography.
Oh, dude, I heard that was really good. I haven't read it.
That one's amazing.
To read it.
I read it in 3 days.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
So I listen to audiobooks. I find myself, if I actually pick up a book and I read it, I tend to pass out, nod off. Whereas since I listen to podcasts, I was like, you know what, let me start doing the audiobooks, of course. So I throw my earbuds in, I'm at work, whatever. I listen to the books. But I'm kind of I'm not the opposite. I'm like you. I got Shaky Burns' book, John McGinnis, Michael Rudder, all Guy Martins. I mean, obviously I'm a two-wheel fan, so I've listened to all those, and you're right. It's all their career, how they got into it, all motorcycles. Very, very, very few, except for John Hopkins. John Hopkins' books really gives you an insight.
That one's wild.
Dude, that's probably the best motorcycle racer autobiography I've read is John Hopkins.
Really?
If you have not, Gary, I highly recommend it because he talks about the whole alcoholism, drugs. I mean, the whole 9 yards. Well, you don't hear that out of, of course, when riders get hurt, of course they pump up with drugs and all this, and I'm sure some of them get hooked on it, but you don't ever hear about it, right? So it's just, this is life. I mean, this is raw life. It happens. You go to the doctor, you break a leg, they give you all these hydrocodines or whatever it is, right? Next thing you know, that when you're off of them, you still hurt, you want it because you're addicted to it, you don't realize it. But dude, he goes through the whole spill, and it's proper. because he's
Wild.
honest about it, right? And it's, to me, that's the best motorcycle autobiography there is out there on the market right now. It's definitely.
Didn't he buy Mike Tyson's house? We just talked about Mike Tyson's biography. Didn't Hopkins buy Tyson's old house?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he did.
Wait, hang on.
Yeah.
7 circles of Kevin Bacon here. Like, what?
Yeah. David Goggins is one that I just got done. I read both of his, which is really good. He
is a massive human being.
Dude,
I saw him running because his mom lives about 10 miles, like the city she lives is about 10 miles away from me. And I'm sitting there at a stoplight going to work, and I'm like, see somebody running. I go, nobody runs here. Like, nobody runs in this section of the town. Like, there's a couple of gas stations, there's a big exit to get onto the interstate, right? And it's just this huge guy just trucking along, and I'm like, who in the world? Oh my God, that's David Goggins! Like, literally,
like, what up, dude? Yeah,
I ain't stopping that man. Heck no,
yeah,
that man looked at me and go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
No, but he is a massive human being.
He is. So Gary, his whole book is like, it's very motivational, right? He was the 37th Black Navy SEAL. He went through the whole, used to be fat, lost a bunch of weight, nothing but motivation. Now his whole mindset is, fuck it, you can do it. I don't give a shit what they say. You know, it's a very good motivational book.
He's a savage.
He's straight beast. I mean, straight beast mode. Look, Peter Marsh. Hey guys, sorry, just got home from work. I bet I've missed so much good contacts, Peter. But the good news is, Peter, what is up, mate? You can go back and watch it as soon as it's done being live on Facebook and YouTube, and tomorrow it'll be out on Spotify and Our Heart and all that good stuff. So yeah.
I've told him he needs to pack that work in. It's interfering with his motorcycling.
Right. And listen, Peter, dude, I actually have I had Benny Grayson on, and we had talked about this earlier, but this could be a conversation for me and you and Jake about some pranks you guys pulled on each other this year. I can't wait to hear all about them. But yeah. So let me ask you this, Peter. Favorite Netflix series?
Me?
I mean, Gary, sorry.
Gary.
It's been a long night.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
It's only 1 o'clock.
No, man. It's
You know
hey,
what?
man, this is hard water, okay? It's hard water.
Whatever you got to do to get through the day, bud.
I don't actually watch a lot of television. It's
Okay.
not, and I never really have done really. This I don't know why. I spent the time of 5 years without a television at all.
Oh, nice.
That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have a question. There is a picture of a mid-'60s Formula One car next to Freddie Spencer. Who is that?
Oh, that's John Surtees when he won the World Championship in Mexico.
I was like, I think that's a Surtees car. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna ask.
It's an autographed picture.
Oh yes,
How
Mr.
proper is that?
Mr. Barber down here here in the States, he's got his museum. He's got a massive Surtees collection. I think he may actually have that car sitting in the museum. He has a Surtees car. Who did he let out in it? I think he let Dario, when Dario was still here, living in Nashville. He went down to Birmingham to go, and he let Dario drive the car. But yeah, he's got a Surtees Formula One car, and he's got a Surtees MV. So that man's got everything.
I did the tour to the Motorsport Museum. It's fabulous.
Oh, it's beautiful. I was there. It was a funny story. I was there. The racetrack was open. He was building the museum. The framework's done. It's almost all the way done. He's about to start moving stuff in, and we're walking around. And I'm a quarter marshal, so we're just like, we're leaving. We're just gonna poke our head in, kind of look around, and this guy walks up. And he's like, hey, hey, come on in. Like, okay, whatever. So we walk in, and he's showing us, we're going to do this, that. We're going to put this thing here, this, that, and the other thing, about 20, 30 minutes. And we're like, oh, well, thanks. We're kind of leaving. We didn't need, mean for you to do that. What's your name again? Thank you so much. He goes, oh, Mr. Barber. Really? Thanks. I just got a free tour of the guy that owns the building for like not even knowing what's going on. But it's just like, yeah, that man's got so much stuff. He's got 1,500 on display and another 2,000 hidden somewhere.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's got when you walk in, you've got that big elevator and you can go all the way down. He's gotten into like race car bodies. It's weird. He's got like 917K and a 265 LM or whatever it is, but just bodies just sitting out there. And then you walk back toward the door where you walk in. He's got a warehouse full of everything else that's not out there that is all museum quality. And there's another 1,000 bikes there at least. That man has everything.
I've never been, Gary.
What?
Yeah, no, I've never been. No, I'm not. I want to go to Barber.
That man right there has been to that museum.
And this man right here is not. Yeah.
You live 7 hours away.
Never been. I know. It's a shame, and I apologize to all the listeners and all the viewers out here. I will make it. I promise you we'll go. Daniel, we'll make a trip out
this,
of
man.
We'll make a trip. You know what? The video is ending. Bam. Now, we'll make a trip out of it for sure. I want to go.
You've been. You need to see it in the museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I would love to do a podcast there. How awesome!
Hey, like for the Barber round, I'm going to be there. Holler at me. I'll be at the Barber round. We can do a podcast with the team.
Yeah, it'd be cool, man. Set up inside the museum doing a podcast.
Sure,
that'd be awesome. I would like to actually, Peter, when I come out there next time I come to the UK.
You mean Gary?
Gary, dude, listen. Oh my God, I'm sorry. What a
Marsh, what have you done to
man. Yeah, I apologize. I would like to actually do a live podcast with you when I come out there to the UTK, Gary. I think that'd be fun from the California Superbike School. Be a lot of fun to do. Talk to all the other instructors too. You know what I'm saying? Be proper, absolute proper. So since you don't watch TV, do you watch any other sports like soccer or anything like that?
I watch a little bit of football, that sort of thing, but not as much as I should really.
Yeah. So who's your favorite football team?
Well, being from Manchester, I'm a Red, unfortunately.
I was going to say Manchester.
I was like, damn it, I'm a City fan, and I was like, he's going to be a Red. I know it's going to be that way, but
look,
I live in a house full of City fans.
Look, Peter Marsh said, "I'd just like to say thanks to my biggest fan, Chris."
No shit.
Peter, you're welcome, mate. Absolutely your biggest fan, you and Jay. Yeah, awesome. That's good stuff, Pete.
The check's in the post.
Yeah.
Check's in the post. Absolutely it is. Yeah, that's good stuff. So one of my favorite players, of course, is Messi. I always love Lionel Messi. I also like Neymar. I know he's a bad boy. A lot of people don't like Neymar, but I do like Neymar. Of course, Ronaldo, who don't. But of course, I'm in America, so Inter Miami is my team here in America. A lot of my friends, when I tell them I like soccer, they shit on me. They look at me like I'm a foreign, like I shouldn't even be an American anymore. Gary, no bullshit. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
Jane said Martin Adams had to mention Predator Pete Marsh. Yes, he did, Jane. Yes, he did. And what a great story that was. It was great. It's good stuff. Yeah, I don't soccer every once in a while when I get a chance, but on the off season, I'm always watching reruns of MotoGP, World Superbike, BSB, all that good stuff.
I was watching Alton Park last night from this year. That race was bonkers.
Mega, it is. Yeah, dude, the last race of the year, I tell everybody, if you haven't seen the last BSB race between Tommy and Glenn, it was proper mega. It's everything that went with it, Gary. You had, unfortunately, Birdie, the team, both teammates, both fighting for the champion. Last race, half a point. Comes down to who finishes in front of the other, except for Glenn needed one person to finish between him and Tommy in order for them to wrap it up. If they were 1-2, Tommy obviously got it. So I was super happy for him. It was a proper year racing for them fellas, right? And a good, I guess, into the story of the unfortunate circumstances that we had for the team. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's good to see that Jordan, and her name Jordan,
his daughter,
Jordan.
I think. Hang on.
She's actually picked up and actually running the team and carrying it on, which is good. Her and her brother Yeah, man, it's proper. So no movies, hardly any TV. We like books, right? Soccer every once in a while. Let me ask you this: celebrity crush.
Is this a man crush or a girly crush?
Pick one. Who cares?
Either one, it don't matter. We do not discriminate.
I'm not bothered about discrimination. I'm bothered about incrimination.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. No. You're good.
This is all allegedly.
Yeah,
is all it is.
All allegedly.
Nobody else, two of you.
I didn't hear it. Sorry.
I said there's nobody else listening but the two of you.
Exactly. Yeah, there's only two of us here.
That's it. That's it.
Oh, that's a question.
Red wine. Grace Jones.
Grace Jones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jane definitely stepped up. She's like, I know Grace. All right, Jane. Let me ask you this: who's your celebrity crush, Jane? I'm gonna turn the tables around. Who's yours, Jane? Let's see. What she say? Celebrity, Mr. and Mrs. That's right. Gerard Butler. That's a good. That's.
I'll give that. I'll give her that.
Leonidas, Spartan 300 in that movie. Man, that's one of my favorite movies right there. Yes.
Yeah.
Jane, proper one. Yes. Absolute proper. So you like red wine?
Red wine.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
Yeah. I like red wines. I can't drink Peter Marsh. Peter Marsh said, Peter Marsh. Yes, celebrity. That is my celebrity crush, Peter. You nailed it. Yes, that's great. I love that. That's awesome. It's good stuff. What fun, man. Gary, what fun, man. Look, we've been at this almost an hour and 30 minutes, man. What a problem. Yeah. I know it goes by so quick, man. That's why I said, listen, we'll definitely have a part 2, 3, 4, and 5 of this. Absolutely.
Because I'm gonna have coaching stories to share after this coming year. I'm gonna be like, Gary, this dude, oh my God, this idiot. Like, you've got to hear about this. I know it's coming. I can't wait.
That's hilarious. I'll
start watching some TV as well in the meantime.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, man. So listen, we're gonna end this soon. I got to go back to work, unfortunately. No, listen. I get such support from my work. They allow me to come home and do this and go back and make up my time during the week, which is what an honor, Gary. You know,
that's really nice.
It's incredible. He's the one that actually, because I used to do just earbuds and stuff, and he's like, dude, you got to stop doing this. And so he's the one that bought me my mic and all that. So actually. But before we get to that, Jane said, ask him about Norway.
Gary's like, I don't remember what's she talking about in Norway.
And the Suzuki. Norway and the Suzuki.
It took me 20 years of the California Superbike school to crash on a school day.
Oh.
And I crashed.
Cold tires is what I'm going to guess at Norway.
No, it was. It was a surprise. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And, unfortunately, I was working with a level 4 student on a Panigale, and when the bike crashed, the camera kept rolling, so they could hear me cursing and kicking the Suzuki on the floor, calling it all the names under the sun.
As you should.
As you
should. I was given an end of year award by my coaching peers after that conversation.
Sound like my kind of people.
Facts. She said, coaches rode past you, Gary, kicking the tires with his suit all blown up.
That's funny.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, we've seen it all on TV.
You do.
Yeah. You see that cartoon, the Pink Panther, when he pulled the string in the middle of his chest and went,
yep.
Just like that.
Mm-hmm. He looked like the Pillsbury Dough Man. Jane, you're hilarious.
It sounds like we need to get Jane on this show too.
Yeah. We're gonna have Jane in with you next time, Gary.
Keep her away from it. There's far too much motorcycling secrets to be told.
I did get her on. Let's go.
She said no to John.
Don't you start that.
It's okay, Jane. We're just fine having you comment. This is hilarious. I love it. This is awesome. Good stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So Gary, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you, how they can get in touch with you, how they can sign up for the California Superbike School in the UK?
Yeah, we have the website superbikeschool.co.uk. All the information's on there. Have a look around. There's information about the crew, what we teach, where we go to. As I said before, the dates are going to be out at the NEC, which starts on Saturday and runs to the following Sunday. So we'll be there all week on the part of the experiences section for the Kawasaki UK stand. There's a phone number on the website. If you've got any questions or an email, then by all means, email us, give us a call, and we'll do our best to talk you through things.
Here you go. It's up on the screen. Jane at superbikeschool.co.uk.
Yeah, give Jane an email, and we'll do our best. And again, it's been a little bit rocky the past few years with the school and one thing or another, but I think that it's going well now, and things have improved. And I just want to give a big plug, really, to all our partners, everybody who's been involved. Kawasaki, a lot of them are long-standing, partners with us. So we've got Kawasaki, Pirelli, R&G, RST, and RI, Fuchs, Silkaline, Roadskin, Carol Nash, and 151s. They've all done a fantastic job for us, and we hope to continue with them for many years. And clothing, yeah, don't forget Martin at Clothing Kings as well.
Absolutely not. Y'all see it on the hat? You see it on the hat right here? Yes.
I need to get one of those hats.
Dude, listen, I got you. So big shout out, just like what Gary said. Listen, everybody want to listen to it. Jane at superbikeschool.co.uk. Sign up. You guys will have a proper time. The best time you guys ever had learning to properly ride a motorcycle, not race, but ride a motorcycle, right? That's what it's about. Peter Marsh, the team behind the school are amazing. They're all proper. And I can't wait to meet every single one of them the next time I come out there. But yeah, I want to say thank you to everybody that watches, likes, and subscribe. Please leave comments, feedback, hit the bell, all that. We're on Spotify, iHeart, yada, 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 the whole nine. Big shout out to Peter Marsh and Jake for all their love and support. It means the world to me. Also with Martin at the Clothing Kings, I said this at the beginning, for the best merch in the world. What a proper lad Martin is with the Clothing Kings. Gary can contest to that. So can and Peter and Jake and a host of other. Max Hall, he makes his clothes. Chloe Jones. I mean, he does it for a lot of people out there. And it's simply the best gear out there. It is. All my shirts that I've got from my hats are just simply amazing. But yeah, big shout out to them for sure. Cameron Frazier again, mate. Thank you so much. What an honor it was to have you on the podcast. Send me your shirt, dude. It was when I got it in the mail the other day, Gary. I was like, yes, dude, look at this. This is badass. My wife's like, that shirt is awesome. And everybody, dude, listen, I love all you guys, and it's an honor to be friends and mates with every single one of you. You guys know who I am. I'm Chris Show Simcoe. My man Daniel. Jules wasn't here, but I want to give a big shout out to Jules. Jules was at work today. He actually tuned in and watched for a little bit. So Jules, if you're I hope you're having a good day anyway. And I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and we miss you, mate. Can't wait to have you on again. But yeah, thank you guys so much. This is part one of the California Superbike School.
Gary will be back.
Okay, so Gary's going to be back. Actually, matter of fact, when we end this video, Gary, I need you to stay on with us for a few more minutes because we're going to go ahead and preset another one up for 2024. But listen, I hope you guys that did listen and got a chance to watch and listen live. Thank you guys so much again. And if you missed it, no worries. As soon as this ends, you can go back and rewatch it and on Spotify and all that stuff tomorrow too as well. So, yeah. Thanks a lot. What an honor for my man Daniel Shoemake, my special co-host today, my good mate Gary at California Superbike School, and his lovely wife Jane. Thank you so much. You guys are super amazing. What an honor. And again, as my man Jules says, I am Chris, the whole effing show Simcoe. This is Pin to Gas Podcast. What a mega day it has been. I hope you guys enjoy and have the beautiful day for the rest of your day. Until next time. See you guys. All right, hang on one